Hello Riven mains and Yasuo mains alike, I am the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. So just like I did with North America, I'm going to do the exact same thing with the LEC, now rebranded from the EULCS. It's still the same thing, just, you know, a few different teams, a few returning teams, and we obviously saw how that panned out for the year. So with that being said, just like I did for North America, let's see if EU can actually win Worlds 2019. So obviously they have two of the huge favorites coming in G2 and Fnatic. We'll talk about Splice in just a moment because it's mostly just considering G2 and Fnatic because of how strong they actually are. G2 won both spring and summer as I had already predicted, and they won MSI. They are on to win the Grand Slam of winning Worlds 2019. I think that when you look at how this has gone in the past, most of it has only really gone with how SKT have actually did it. SKT won, Worlds. SKT won spring, summer, and then won Worlds 2016. In 2015, SKT didn't do that because they lost to EDG in 2015. So theoretically, SKT have been the only team ever to have a Grand Slam of all, obviously winning spring. And I forgot they didn't win summer for 2016. They were beaten by by KT Rolster. Yeah, I remember. And then Rocks Tigers getting first meant that Samsung Galaxy, yeah, okay, I remember. So nobody has ever had a Grand Slam. I'm sorry. I kind of forgot. Yeah, so this is G2's chance to be one of the first teams to do a Grand Slam. Obviously, SKT couldn't do it, and obviously RNG, failed to G2 last year when they obviously had a weaker roster with Wadid and Yarnan. I'll be the first one to say it. I'm on record saying it. Yarnan and Wadid for G2 was the worst thing to ever happen for them. I thought that Wadid was a really weak player. I thought that Yarnan was a really weak player. The fact that they even took those guys as far as they did is ridiculous. Perks and Yankos and Wonder had to play out of their mind for them to even get as far as they did. I hope they never, ever, 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 ever have players like that on the roster. Those players are just too weak, and I saw coming from a mile away that G2 were going to have issues with Yarnan and Wadid. And obviously coming into 2019, everything changed with Perks moving to ADC and Caps coming over from Fnatic. Now, with that being said, with G2 at MSI, they obviously won MSI, and they obviously have really strong players, and also they are super, super flexible in terms of the draft. They can do pretty much anything. They can play pretty much anything, and that really bridges a gap between what is a strong team versus a not strong team, because being super flexible gives you more options in your drafting phase and gives you more options to play the game. And I do feel like for their group, they are almost hotly uncontested. They do have this tendency to be very cocky, where they could easily be beaten in a random best of one. It's happened in their own region. They've lost to people like SK. They've lost to Vitality, so it's very, very possible they drop random best of one games. They'll most likely still finish first place in the group, but how many losses they take will thoroughly impact, obviously, if they come out on first or if they come out, obviously, as second. And I do feel like an underrated team in their group is Cloud9, and I know people are going to just call me biased. They're going to call me a person that has Cloud9's dick all the way down my throat, but it's not the case here, because remember, Griffin and Cloud9 can easily exploit G2 the same way G2 can exploit them. The group is very, very hard, actually. I would say it's another group of death. We literally have two group of deaths at the Worlds 2019, so G2, for them to actually take down Cloud9 and Griffin, I think that verbatim, G2 have really good players. Perks and Mickey are going to have to not drop random 2v2s like they did at MSI. Like, randomly, they'll be doing really well, and then all of a sudden, they'll start dropping, like, random 2v2 matches where they're just behind and then they just lose the game. Remember, these are best of one games, so doing that consistently will lose you more games than not. They cannot do that. They need to be consistent. They need to win their lane. And also having, what is that giant ant right there? That's a giant ant. Get that giant ant out of my house. You freaking big ant, loser. All right, back to what I'm saying. For I was rudely interrupted by an ant. All right, so Jankos actually being really, really strong in the jungle. You have Tarzan and Svenskeren he has to actually handle. I think that he can easily handle Hong Kong attitudes, jungler that we saw. Jankos is really strong. I feel like that him pairing up with Caps and Wonder obviously make G2 as strong as they are. Like I said before, the reason why G2 were as strong as they were coming into spring and summer was because they have a really, really strong top side, obviously giving them that much of an advantage, obviously coming into a match. And obviously they show that they can beat the Koreans in a best of one because they obviously beat SKT, and SKT are better than Griffin. So for them to so it's very, very foreseeable that they could easily beat Griffin in a best of one. So I feel like that G2 has the strongest shot right now of finishing first in their group. Obviously, they are the tournament favorites. You have SKT and FPX are in the conversation for the teams to obviously win the whole thing. But right now, I think that this is the best shot the West has for winning Worlds 2019. I feel like this is one of the best Western rosters we have had in a very long time. I know people want to say Fnatic in 2015 were really good. Yes, that's super true, but remember, they didn't win anything, and you have to kind of factor in that you have to base it off of how strong a split was versus how strong a team was. Yes, there's different periods and times for the meta, but obviously, they didn't win anything, and this team did, and this team I think is much stronger than the Fnatic roster we had back in 2015 when they were obviously competing, to be almost a world championship winning team, but only falling short to Rocks Tigers 3-0 in that semifinal. But I think that this is the best shot for the West to win Worlds. That might hurt to some NA fans, but this is one of the best Western teams we ever had, and this is a really good roster of players, and they already won an international title. They show that they can do it, and the issue is that their worst enemy is themselves, and that's the same thing that goes with Fnatic, is that their worst enemy is themselves. Like, how do Fnatic drop games? Because they overthink things. They do something they don't have to do. But G2 are obviously always are going to build up the aggression. They can get leads. Caps is good enough to hold himself against Chovy. Caps is good enough definitely to hold himself definitely hold himself up against Hong Kong Attitude's mid laner. I forgot his name. It really doesn't matter. And he's definitely can hold his own up against Nisqy. He beat Nisqy constantly when Nisqy was on Splice, so him beating Nisqy now on Cloud9 is not going to make any difference other than the fact that certain players on Cloud9 are a lot stronger than the players he had on Splice, so that's going to make a little bit of a difference. But I think that Caps playing up against Nisqy before is obviously going to be something that he's going to use to his advantage. He already knows how Nisqy plays, so that's going to be another big edge to him as well. I think that when you look in the top lane, Wonder's going to have to really dig deep to be more of a carry threat, because Licorice is not bad, and not only is Doran is someone he can beat, Licorice is going to be a little bit more of a competition for him. Hong Kong Attitude's top laner is actually not that bad, so it depends on who they want to actually play through. But like you heard it here, folks, if I have time to do a top 5 teams for Worlds, this team is going to be number 1. Obviously, I think they have the best chance for the West to win a international event, thus leaving North America the only major region without a Worlds title. Yes, even LMS has a Worlds title. Holy mother of God, North America, what is wrong with you? All right, so next team is Fnatic. Good lord, I hate motorcycles. The same stupid motorcycle always passes through here, and he revs his loud engine. I hate motorcycles so much. It's okay. Fnatic is the next team. So Fnatic, the boys in yellow, #always Fnatic. So Fnatic are gonna have a really, really hard time. I'm not even gonna front here, guys. They have it really hard. At least in Hong Kong, at least in G2's case, they have a free team in their group to get wins off of in Hong Kong Attitude, obviously, but Fnatic's group doesn't have that. I mean, Clutch is not a team you should be sleeping on. And people are gonna say that, but then then they lose to them, and then they say, "Oh, Fnatic choked because reasons, logic," right? That's also a really, really big hypocritical thing people say, is that the team that was predicted to get second, if they don't get second, that means they choked. No, what the heck? No, you could literally have just gotten beaten, fair and square. Who would have thought of that? It's something always that Cloud9 gets. If Cloud9 gets second in their group, then it's obviously because that the second team underperformed. No, it's because that team just sucked and lost. There's more factors, but sometimes that's the case, and I'll admit that. Sometimes that's the case, but just because your team didn't make it out of second place like you predicted doesn't mean they choked. It's like you just got beaten fair and square. You lost, So it's going to happen with Fnatic's group because Fnatic's group is SKT, RNG, and Clutch, and that's really hard. Like, that is just insanely hard because the game right now is all about mid-jungle duo, how your jungle sets up bot lane, how your jungle sets up top lane, how your jungle gets you advantage. Fnatic have a strong jungler. They have Broxa. Broxa showed last year he can compete on the world stage. He did it in 2017 very, very effectively, kind of to a lesser extent, but I feel like he really came into his own in 2018. Fnatic, in order to actually show how strong they can be and make some noise at the 2019 World Championship and potentially get to semifinals or maybe another finals like they did during last year's Worlds, is that they're going to obviously have to play through their solo lanes a lot more effectively than they did last year with Caps, because you don't have Caps this time around to bail them out. Obviously last year Perps was better than him in mid lane, so Nemesis can play a lot of different stuff. He is flexible just like Caps is to a lesser degree. I feel like Nemesis can hold his own against Xiaohu and Demonte. The big question is, can Nemesis hold his own against Faker? Because remember, a lot of European mid laners have faced Faker, and he's never lost to them. Bjergsen, Jensen, they've never been able to beat him. You have Caps. Caps really fumbled against him, at MSI. So it's like, these really tough Korean mid laners, Nemesis would be the first to really take him down, but because I just don't feel like anything Faker can do worse is going to be anything that Nemesis can do better. You know what I'm saying? But Fnatic have a strong bot lane. Their bot lane is super, super strong, super clutch. Hylissang is an incredible mechanically skilled support. Reckless is obviously really good, but it's not this Fnatic's bot lane that's the issue. It's the issue of that is Bwipo gets destroyed by Huni, or Bwipo gets destroyed by Khan, or if Bwipo gets destroyed by Lang X, Fnatic are going to have a really, really hard time, because if Bwipo starts inting games, that's going to be an issue. Now, with that being said, you have to kind of factor in that Fnatic like to play 1-3-1 consistently. They like to set up their bot lane very, very well, and they like to play through solo lanes effectively. Now, they're mostly, I would say they're mostly a bot lane focused team. That's just how the nature of Fnatic usually goes through. It usually goes through Reckless consistently. But they can win games through Nemesis, though he isn't the main source of damage. He can be a very, very good carry. As we've seen, he can hold his own effectively with the best in the West, and he definitely can do it at the World Championship. I think so. Right now, looking at the team, I think that if they have a horrible draft where they start doing these weird crappy scaling comps that they've been randomly inting on, yeah, they're gonna be losing some games doing that. There's no possible way. I better not see no Jinx Thresh in Reckless's hands. Holy crap, if they play that, they're done for. Because this is not a group you can drop games in. And the same thing goes with G2. You cannot drop games the way you can. It's just get your 3 wins, or get 2 wins week 1, or the first part of how the group stage plays out. Get those 2 wins, or get as many wins as you can, because you cannot drop games. Because these groups are incredibly volatile, and they can, one random loss that you didn't think was going to happen, or one random loss you overestimate, or a game you didn't need to lose, could seriously stop you in getting out of the group. Now, there's a world in which Fnatic doesn't get out, but obviously this is an EU video, so I'm going to give EU the benefit of the doubt. I actually think Fnatic are getting out at 2nd seed. I think that. I think they're going to get out 2nd seed. I think RNG is highly, kind of overrated, but not super rated in that realm. I like RNG a lot. My boy Uzi's over there, but I think that Fnatic can easily beat RNG to a certain extent, not through bot lane, because they showed this year they can play through solo lanes, and their compositions have shown that. And them beating Clutch, I mean, is that really... If you think Fnatic aren't going to be Clutch, what are you smoking? Sorry, NA fans. Hey, I'm not being biased here, and I'm going to drink my apple juice that I filled up before this video. Apple juice. So, what is the last team? Is this Splice? Oh my god, it's Splice, FPX, GAM Esports, and CBTC, ST, IC, LWK, J-Team. It's just called J-Team. I was just making a joke for all the internet pussies out there. Alright, so, let's go with, I have no clue how Splice are going to get out. And that is the issue, is that even if they do, let's say they do. This is what Jat said, and Jat makes a clear-cut good point, is that this group means that, okay, so basically every single group even Cloud9's group, and to some extent, you could have Cloud9 at like the 11th place, the 11th best team in the world. That means that FPX's group has 3 teams in there that are between 16th and 20th for the World Championship, or literally in like bottom tier, right? So a bottom tier team, not even strong, is going to make quarters, not even being a top 8 team in the world coming into the event. I understand plans can make you better. Obviously, Cloud9 did that 2 years in a row. G2 had it. Fnatic had it. No denying that. But these are teams that can easily take down Splice and exploit them, because if you watch the J Team versus HQ finals, they have it, I think, on the LOL Esports page at somewhere. You can watch their finals. J Team plays fast, and if you sleep on them, you lose. And we know Levi plays fast. Is that even a debate? We know Levi plays fast, and we know he likes to get stuff done. So with that being said, I'm hard pressed to believe Splice don't make it out. I'm sorry. Maybe they make some noise. Maybe they sneak off some wins, but I just don't see it happening. I think the real clear-cut contenders for EU to win Worlds 2019 is G2 and Fnatic. And I think Fnatic have a shot of making semis again. And I think G2 has a good shot of actually making and taking home finals and taking home the World 2019 Summoners Cup. But if Fnatic gets second, that's hard too, because that means theoretically Fnatic can draw FPX. Like, being second seed is hard, but we've seen that sometimes being second seed, you can win your quarterfinal matches. It's possible. You just have to be the better team on that day. That one specific day, or otherwise your tournament life is over. So, yes, I think Fnatic have a good shot. I'm not one of those biased NA people, EU people, Korean haters, LPL dick suckers. I'm not one of those people. I like to think about things logically, and I like to give people the benefit of the doubt and about how strong they are. G2 is very strong, very flexible, strong soul laners, superstars in every position. Fnatic have superstars in 4 out of the 5 positions. I think Nemesis can be that. No, 3 out of the 5 positions, Fnatic have superstars, because obviously Brox is not necessarily a superstar, he's just really good, and you also have Bwipo, who literally ends his ass off in games, but that's going to be a problem in the group. I think if Bwipo doesn't end as hard as he does, it's very possible, and you guys know, hashtag G2 Army, because my boys are winning Worlds 2019. You heard it here, G2 is winning and having their rematch against SKT. So all the SKT dick riders out there, when they say G2 won off luck, yeah, how about we run that back again, and then how about we beat you again? So, hey, yeah, let's do that. How about we meet you in finals, SKT, and then how about we run it back again, and how about we beat you again? Only this time, instead of playing Pike Top, instead of playing Syndrabot, how about we just beat you standard, because they did it in best of ones. Remember, this G2, I mean, all time, it's still more an SKT favored, but if you just look at what's recent, G2 won twice in best of ones. They won 3 games in a best of 5. They are 5-2. They are 5-2 against SKT. The record is clearly in favor. But then you have to count in the other games they played at the other MSI, and then you have to play the games that SKT played against G2 at the 2017 Mid-Season Invitational. So SKT, so it's 5-2 and that. Then SKT won 2 best of 1 games. Obviously, that puts at 5-4. Then SKT won 3 more games in the final, in the MSI 2017 final, putting them at 7, and then G2 won a game in that best of 5, so it's literally the all-time record is like 7-6, so it's not even that big of a gap. And this time around, I feel like G2 is a lot stronger than SKT, and a lot of the things that even SKT try to do. But that's it. I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing. Way of Esports is signing out. Peace. I'm going to bed right now. I need to go to bed. And I need to actually go, have sex with my wife. So, peace out. Bye. Have a good day. G2 is going to win Worlds 2019.
Hi there, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.